All right, guys. So back with another video. So this will be the last one for a while until I find a workaround for this slot entrance problem. Uh, and yeah, so we're going to be doing the stride warping. So you need to go over to the mannequin animations folder and open up the ABP Mani and come over here to the event graph. And what we're going to do is we're going to be subtracting the characters. So under references over here, drag out the character or right click and type in get character and select it from under variables and references. And then we're going to get the current actor location, and we're going to subtract from it. We're going to make this a variable and we're going to call this world location. So what this is doing is it's finding the difference between the character's current location and where it was the last frame. And so in order to do that, we need to set that after this. What this is going to be the displacement. We're going to get the vector length xy. And the reason why is because we just want the two-dimensional distance. We don't want the three-dimensional distance. And so I'm going to promote this to a variable, and I'm going to call it displacement amount. I'm following, basically, in case you guys were wondering, I'm following the algorithm that they used in Lyra. So you can go and look at Lyra, and they're doing it pretty much the same way. They probably used different names. I don't remember what the name was that they used, or I would use it, but anyway. So after we've calculated the displacement amount, we need to update the world location. And the reason why we're doing that afterwards is because if we update the world location before we get the displacement amount, then we'll be getting we'll be getting the displacement between where it is now and where it is now, which will be 0 at all times, and that's the reason why. So just Control C this character actor location, and so you can go ahead and comment this. And we'll just move this over here. And we can add another one. And really, you can get this and bring this down. That's much better. So after we've gotten the displacement amount, so we've set the displacement and we've gotten the world location, now we need to get the displacement speed. And the displacement speed is going to be the amount of displacement over time, or distance divided by time equals the rate of change of something, and that's going to be our speed. And so we'll get the displacement amount, and we need to divide it. Let's do a safe divide. But we need to divide it by the delta time. So let's promote this to a variable, because this is the delta time of this animation blueprint. We don't want to get the world time because the world time is independent of this animation instance. And so we want this time to be the delta time of the animation instance. And so this right here will be let's promote it to a variable, displacement speed. And so after we do that, we need to let's do a branch, and we'll promote this to a variable, and we'll call it We'll call this variable first frame. This variable's default value will be true. If it's true, we'll set it to false and we'll never set it back to true. And so this will only run once on the first frame. And this is a fix that they implemented in Lyra in order to prevent problems. But let's see, I believe they just they reset both the displacement speed and the amount after the first frame to give it time. I'm not sure exactly why they did that. So over here, yeah, since last update and displacement speed. But that's what they did. They did it for a very specific reason, and you can go into Lyra to see why they did that. But yeah, so we can actually, I mean, you can rename this to since last, actually, let's just say last displacement amount. I don't know. It's up to you, whatever you want to name it. Whatever makes sense to you, you can name it that, but there we go. So we'll label this distance divided by time equals rate of change over time. And this will be a, let's see, what comment did I put over here on this one? I think I copied their comment. So maybe it, ignore distance delta on first tick. We need at least 2 updates to get a delta. Okay. So it had something to do with getting the proper delta. You need time to get the right, because we're getting it since last frame, and so if you do it on the first tick, this is going to be wrong, and so the second tick it'll be right. And the reason why is because the first time this runs, then the world location will be 000. So that makes it a little bit more obvious what's going on. So that's pretty much it. I'm just going to adjust to this here. You don't have to, but I get a little OCD about these wires running everywhere. So anyway, I think we should probably place this after the control rig. So right click inside of here. I don't know why my right click is bugging out. And just search for stride warping. So we'll probably, yeah, we're going to have to, I'm going to have y'all do this a different way. That's, I'm going to show you guys how to do this and make this work independent of IK bones. And it is possible. So obviously select the pelvis bone right here, pelvis right here, and then go to the preview scene settings and double click on this right here. We probably could have done it right here from the skeletal tree actually, but yeah, I mean, I guess we could do it in here. So if you want to do it in here, you can, but go to add virtual, right click on the root, go to add virtual bone and select root. And this is going to be the foot root. Yeah, that's going to be the foot root. And then off of this, we're going to select foot L. And then do it again off of the foot root for the foot R. And this makes it scalable. So regardless of what character you run this on, it should work. Whereas with IK bones get displaced when there's a difference in anatomy. And that's the reason why I'm using the virtual bone setup. And so there you go. That's pretty much all we have to do. Well, actually, let's do this. I don't know if this is, no, I don't think this is necessary. Okay, we won't do that unless we have to. So right here under the IK foot root bone, select that virtual bone. It should be called VB space foot underscore root. And then we need 2 foot definitions. The thigh is going to be the thigh. The FK foot is the foot R. And then the IK foot bone is going to be that virtual bone, VB space foot L. And then, oh, actually, that's VB space foot R because this is the right leg. And then we'll do it again for the left foot. Yeah. So what I was actually going to show you guys how to do is how to make a pole arm for the foot R to properly align the legs. And this is a method similar to how they do it in ALS. It's the same ideal, basically, but you type in calf and you would point it to the calf. And that's basically what I was going to have y'all do, but it doesn't look like we need that for this. We're going to set this to graph, and the locomotion speed is going to be that delta displacement speed. There we go. And so if you want, what you could do is you can have it only stride warping whenever there's an animation playing, and you can handle this logic on your project however you want. But for these purposes, I'm just going to set this to is any montage playing. So, and I'm going to make this a bull. Actually, we're going to have to redo this. Make it a bull and then set it to is any montage playing. And then under blend settings, you can set a blend in time and a blend out time. And I believe that should apply to this right here since it's a bull. In fact, if you switch back, you'll see it goes away. So it is bull based. Yeah, so this allows you to linearly interpolate a bull value, whereas normally that wouldn't be the case. So I'll just say 1/4 of a second in and 1/4 of a second out. And you can choose a curve if you want, but I don't really think it's necessary. So anyway, and so the stride warping will only happen whenever a montage is playing. But obviously, in a real situation, you probably wouldn't want to do it like that. You would want to have that logic more controlled to specific scenarios. But okay, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties here with the feet, and I think that's because I simply didn't set some things on here. So let's see, what did I miss? So I'm going to come over here to mine and see how I did mine. And I did set up orientation warping in this foot. This is a foot placement. It's like foot IK. It's pretty cool. I like it. So looks like mine are basically okay. So they did clamp the results and then terp results and used the default settings there. I don't think anything else was messed with. No, it don't look like it. So back over on ours, let's go to the stride scale modifier and we'll clamp these and see if that helps. Yeah, there we go. That's a lot better. So there's still a little bit of jerking, but if you want, you can, okay, I see. So on mine, this is what I did. Actually, we need this to be driven by a curve. So I guess we'll go ahead and do it that way. So we're going to set up a curve on our animations. So actually, let's go over here. So we're going to have it only turned on whenever we want it to be turned on, and then it'll be off at any other time. So under the mannequin animations, Manny and Matrix bench, we're going to come over here to this anim montage bench, enter C, and this is the one we're going to set up this curve on. And so go to curve, go to add curve, and I'll set up, I'll call it stride. Well, let's create curve and call it stride warping. And so we want stride warping right there, and then we want it to turn off around this point right here. So at about frame 60, we want it to be off. So right here, we're going to right click and add a key and set this. We'll add another key. Let's see. Let's move this back to frame 55, and then on frame 60, we'll add another key. And we'll set this first key to 1. And then you can push the zoom to fit. Which one of these is it? I don't know what's up with that. Just hold down Control and pull back with your mouse wheel, and then come over here and set this to user, and that'll smooth out that blend right there. And you can adjust this and move it back further if you want. It actually might not be a bad idea to move this back to frame 45. And so now, if we come back over here to the animation blueprint, we can actually, let's do get curve value. And let's go back to this, and we'll right click on this and copy selected curve name. And then we'll just paste that right here. And then what we'll do is we'll just set this back to float. And I don't think you can get curves from here. I'm pretty sure you can't. So we're going to have to just plug this into the alpha directly. And so, yeah. So let's see if that helps. Yeah, that's quite a bit better. So again, I don't know what to do about that jerking. Like I said, it's caused from it blending out. And so we can test this actually from different positions, because the blend is completely dependent on where the feet are whenever the blend occurs. And it's running a little, my computer's running a little bit choppy, but so there is a little bit of it's not too bad. If you want, you can go onto here. You can go into this and you can tweak the blend time right here. And you might even be able to offset this 5 frames to give it a little bit more time before the motion warping happens. But it's ultimately up to you how you want to do that. You can extend the rotation time to maybe like 0.6 or 0.75. That might help. And you can come in here into this blend profile right here and adjust the values of that if you want, or make your own from scratch. and just play around with the different values until you get something like you like. But it's not going to be perfect, guys, because we're not matching the actual poses. So it's going to have to blend somehow, some way, and so you're going to have some amount of imperfection. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm probably going to take a break from this for a few days, and then I'll revisit the problem with the hitching to see if maybe there's a good workaround for that. Now, I do have one in mind, and that would be kind of a dumb fix, though, to be honest. And what it would entail would be it would entail us getting a pose and having that sitting pose inside of here. And then whenever that animation montage plays, it will start playing that pose alongside it. So if it starts blending out, it'll just blend back out back into the same pose. And that would prevent him from hitching. Because the reason why he's hitching is because he's actually moving from a sitting position into a standing position. So that's the reason why that hitch occurs. You're all that's happening basically is when something stops playing on this slot, it immediately blends out of this animation and into this. And that's the reason why it's hitching, because he's blending from a sitting to a standing. Anyway, uh, that's all I have to say about that. I'll try to find a workaround for that entry slot problem, and I will see you guys in the next video.